But hey, I guess you can't get everything, you know, they couldn't make it extremely easy, they just made it easier, I guess. Whatever about that. Picking up rain and land explosives, which I really didn't pick up any of the plastic explosives in the first game because there was only one boss that needed them, and that was the supercomputer, which I used a glitch to just bypass that supercomputer battle because it really isn't even a battle. There's no point to it really, other than of course to advance in the game, but since you can skip it, it's better just to skip it and not have to worry about the boredom of watching me use 15 plastic explosives on one giant computer in order to finally take it out. It's amazing how many bombs that computer could withstand. I mean, it must have been a supercomputer. I am stocking up now on oxygen tanks as I just took my first drink of, I'm sure, many during the course of this game. But I picked up a couple oxygen tanks. Now, I didn't pick up any of that kind of stuff, the scuba gear, in the first game that would have benefited me only really in one part. There are several parts in this game where the oxygen tanks are absolutely necessary, or you're gonna run out of health extremely quickly. Even if you have full amount of rations, you're gonna end up dying before you would be able to make it through the areas in some of these places. Now, when we get to those places, which are the infamous side-scrolling areas, which is another reason why almost every fan of Metal Gear really doesn't like this game at all, is these side-scrolling areas, which I'll talk about more when we actually get to one, but those are the energy tank, those oxygen tanks are going to be used for those areas. As right now, as you can see, I'm just stocking up on my ammunition, just making sure that I am fully prepared, at least for the next large chunk of time, because like I said before, they don't put that many ammunition refilling places throughout the game, so I really, like I said, it's intentional to be able to just stock up using one room. As I'm going to run past, even though everyone wants me dead, and go into the elevator, and now we're going to drop down to the next floor. Oh yes, another floor. Of course, the elevator segments are pretty much the exact same as they were in the first game, so that's another familiar type thing. But coming up in this room, here we go, the first of the side-scrolling areas. Now, of course, they did this probably to make the game more action-packed, more, you know, make it faster-paced, I guess, in certain areas, so you actually had some more action. Which, of course, is a negative in terms of just Metal Gear. It's supposed to be about slow, stealthy gameplay, not action-packed, blast everyone possible away. But I could forgive it if it wasn't so broken. Like, you have to switch out between your knife and your gun. You have to pause the game in order to switch out, which is an annoyance. Even though, because you know, outside of this place, I can do both. I can use my gun and my knife at the same time, but not in here. Another negative thing is you can use your plastic explosives that I picked up during this part, but you can only use them at certain points. Like if you're standing or you're ducking using different weapons. Like for each weapon, it's different. Like if I have the handgun and I duck, then I can use the landmines, the land explosives. It makes no sense. Here is the first boss. It's basically a football team coming at you. I suggest equipping the machine gun. You're gonna take damage in this fight because it's almost impossible. My strategy is to use as much of the machine gun ammo as I can quickly, heal when I need to, make sure I have at least 2 rations in order to beat this battle. Keep using the machine gun until one guy's down. Now with the machine gun, since it spread shots most people, you've done damage to other people by wasting all the ammo for it. Okay, once you've run out of complete ammo from the machine gun, which I'm going to bow to in a second, I'm going to switch back now to the handgun with only 3 guys left. I like to just keep mashing the button until I'm down to only 2 guys left. Now that I'm down to 2 guys, I can spread them out evenly. I can go up to one, hit him a few times, now run down and to the right, hit the right guy, shoot him a few times, run down to the left. They should miss me every time, and I can just pick them off individually, and I'll just finish off this last guy when he runs back to the middle. And there, he's taken care of. And that's basically my only strategy against those guys. If you have more rations, you can just stand there and keep firing and take all the extra damage. If you want to try to avoid them, once you have them down to 4, you can start avoiding them. But I can almost never avoid them when there's all 5 of them on the field at once. It's one of the worst boss battles because you're gonna get hit, you're gonna take damage. It's almost impossible not to. But now that they're taken care of, I'm going to grab my explosives real quick and start bombing this door, I'm gonna have to use multiple explosives in order to blow up this door, the blockade, barricading this door, which is just an annoyance, and just watching it is boring. Okay, once that's finally taken care of, I can switch back now to my keycard number 2. I'm gonna go back to my handgun, because I don't need my plastic explosives right now, and now we're gonna head off into the second area of the game. Unlike the first Metal Gear game, there's actually multiple terrains in this game, not just a jungle and the buildings. You, of course, we've seen a jungle, a building, and now we have a giant ship. A giant transport ship that is actually holding Metal Gear, the Metal Gear 1, in the bowels of the ship. So our goal is to locate where Metal Gear is, get to the bowels of the ship, and blow it up. Get rid of it, destroy it, whatever we can possibly do to it. But of course there's going to be some hostages and some people to mess with along the way, so we're going to do all that first before heading down into the basement. Because of course, it wasn't just going to be so simple as just to go ahead, destroy it real quick, and be done with the game. Of course not. We're going to have to do some stuff before we can go ahead and take out Metal Gear. And yeah. And just like the first game, the random soldiers are pretty blind, even though sometimes they'll see you, even though they're not even looking at you, and they're like, you're standing behind them, somehow they'll still see you, and then other times, you're standing right in front of them, and they still have some trouble somehow finding you, and spotting you, and running at you full charge like an idiot, and usually glitching and running in circles. But that's not all the time, as I'm going to take out some more guys with the mighty fist. I was able to pick up one ration, but I'm going to hope to refill most of my stock, because unfortunately there really is no place, I don't think, on the ship, at least not that I know of, to pick up more rations easily. So I'm just going to keep running around, punching people right in the face when I need to, and yeah, hopefully they drop some more rations so I can refill it up so I don't die here. Right in. Oh, guys, it's a guy who actually is funny. His character sprite, when he's just kind of standing there looking at you, he kind of reminds me of M. Bison from Street Fighter. Probably because he's wearing all red and he looks like he has a hat on, so it's just kind of funny. But apparently, M. Bison will give me full-blown info for just having truth gas, which I really don't even know how you do that. Do you actually? It looks like I'm just running at him holding truth gas, like, hey, you better tell me where Metal Gear is, because hey, I got truth gas. I got it. You want some of this? I don't think you want this. You better tell me. And then he's just like, oh, okay, yeah, I admit it's in the basement. Just go ahead down there and blow it up. Yeah, it's not that hard. Oh, really? Thank you, sir. But I still lose it anyway, so I guess I kind of just let it go in the room. It's not like I stuck it to his face and was like, turn on the gas, and eventually he tells me stuff. I mean, maybe I just let it loose in the room, and Snake also engulfs it and starts giving up facts as well, but, he doesn't, I guess he just doesn't talk in this game, so I guess Snake doesn't give up the truth as well. I also don't understand, once you've gotten the truth out of the guy, you should also have to kill the guy as well, in order just to be able to advance, because you think once they've told you, wouldn't you just think you would kill them as well, just to make sure that they can't tell anyone that you're on the ship? Kind of seems unbeneficial to my whole stealth persona, if they know where I am on the ship. But then again, they don't move, they don't walk, they don't leave the room, and they look completely different than any of the other soldiers, as I just actually punched the guy right in the back of the head and he dropped a ration. What other games, when you punch someone in the face, do they drop food? Oh yeah, wait, Adventures of Bayou Billy, you punch a crocodile in the face, it throws a chicken at you. And not just a small piece, it throws an entire giant chicken at you. And now that I think of it, that was made by Konami, who works with Ultra to make this game as well as the first Metal Gear game. So, a lot of similarities, always between game companies. Whether or not it's Sunsoft constantly using the same sound effects over again, or now we have Konami with different enemies dropping food when they get punched in the face. But a good similarity nonetheless. I mean, it's one of the more positives of video games, being able to know that you can go ahead and just punch a guy in the face if you need some food. Now here we go with the random 3 grenade-throwing dudes. They're just random fat guys stuck in holes, it looks like, and they throw grenades at us. They're one of the worst enemies ever, but I equip my grenades first and run around the room like an idiot. You almost will never get hurt unless you stand in the same spot and let them hit you. I use the grenade to take out the first guy, then I equip my plastic explosives, drop one right in front of the guy, run around the back and drop the next one in front of the next guy on the left, run back to the right, drop one in front of him, and of course, as you can guess, I'm going to go back to the left, go in front of him, drop an explosive real quick, and then work my way back to the right. Do this a few times, and they're taken care of. You didn't take 1 single ounce of damage, which is of course the complete opposite of how much damage I took during the first boss battle. Maybe, this is the easiest boss probably in the entire game. Like, why wasn't this guy first instead of the random football team that is like the most broken boss in the game? But for defeating them, I get key card number 3, which of course is going to be essential for us to be able to make it into the basement and be able to get off this giant boat and destroy Metal Gear. But now that we have that, I'm going to work my way over back to the elevator area. So I'm going to punch more guys right in the face and seeing if they actually will drop any more food. But it seems like they're not going to be nice to me and actually drop some food for me, which is a disappointment. I'm going to stop by